going live because I want to go over. I was watching this video earlier today when I was in here working, and y'all, this is really deep. This is really deep. I didn't even have time to set up like my stream yard, so I'm streaming it from my phone because yeah, I just got to get into it. So let me just give y'all a quick little intro to this video. I've been seeing this on IG, this man's name. So I said, let me go ahead and Google him on YouTube to see if anything comes up. And this interview, along with other interviews, came up. So this was posted 16 hours ago. And this is a video of an audio recording of the first interview between this young man here, William, as it SASCHA Riley, and Lisa Noel Volding. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah. So in this interview, he talks about being a survivor, firsthand account of extreme child, trafficking, torture, rape, and unaliving. Um, Within a criminal enterprise that was allegedly ran by, you guessed it, the president of the United States, the president of, yeah, that fool, and his bestie, J.E., who he said he was not close with. Well, we know that is a complete bold-faced lie. But this video is let's see, it's about an hour and 20 minutes. I watched about 40 minutes of this part one interview. I'm going to rewind it to touch on some of the parts that I've already heard, and I was just like, was a jaw dropper in a sense. So, excuse me, already what I'm getting from this is that this young man was adopted by his dad. He was adopted by a man who was allegedly a pilot or someone that JE used to, you know, uh, I want to say, to fly, gas and victims and stuff like that. So, y'all, let's get into it. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Like I said, I've already watched like 40 minutes of it while I was in here working, and y'all, it's serious. It's serious. I don't know who released it. I don't know how they got this interview, but it is a part two, I believe. But I'm only on part one, so let's get into it. Let me start running my mouth. Let me rewind it a little bit. Let's see.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of aircraft it was or whatever, and it was around Florida that guy got busted. I think he flew down to the Virgin Islands or something.
Let me go back a little bit.
Possible. I think my commanding officer's name at that time was Captain Colasanta.
Okay, let me go all the way back because I'm, yeah, let me go all the way back.
Be okay with, me like transcribing and then publishing something. I publish newsletters selectively. I have a newsletter called Outlaws of Chivalry. I publish once in a while. And I was looking at perhaps publishing there, if you're okay, in terms of how it could help us in terms of getting the right legal support in terms of the International War Court.
I am for whatever puts a light on this, because in my mind, the powers that be are already aware of my position on it and aware that I have spoken up. And, the more light that is shed on there, I don't think that I'm incurring more risk, except for some maybe lunatic that wants to be a soldier for Donald Trump, because they are a little crazy. They're a little brainwashed. But I don't mind whatever would bring a little bit more light to this, particularly the stuff. If we can get some of this stuff verified, and I know that me speaking up is one thing, but then the verification process, is important too. And I have read about software where, facial recognition software that taps into the banks of known cataloged child pornography. So if the films that they had me make can be verified, it's not something that I can go online, but I am confident that it's there because somebody that I served with in the Army got put out of the Army for child pornography, and my chain of command talked to me and they said, hey, some of these images, some of the films or whatever that he had looked just like you. And that was the first time I think I had ever talked to anybody about having done those films. And I told them, yes, when I was a child, I had to do those things.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about that circumstance. Like, so you were in the Army. What years were you in the Army then?
This would have been my second time in the Army. I rejoined in, 2002.
Yeah.
And I retired in 2016. I was in from 91 to 98 as well. So I did a little over 21 years. But the time frame that they pulled me into the office and discussed that would have been around 2008, 2009 time frame. It was in garrison, so it was between deployments.
Yeah.
So around that time is when they talked to me. And yeah, I can just remember I can remember telling them that I knew it was out there was nothing I could do about it, and thinking that there was really no way to go about, anything at that point. I didn't know what I could do about it, if anything.
Yeah. So it was from when our emails, it was one of the fellow soldiers that was caught with a bunch of child pornography, and then your commanding officer pulled you into the office to go through and said they'd seen you in the films?
I did not look at any of the films. All they said was, hey, we had to look at some of this stuff, and one of those people looks just like you. And that's the first time that I had, I think, ever really spoken about it. And I said, yes, those are probably me. But I did not personally see them. But they described something that I knew that I had been a part of.
Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Here's what it was.
Yeah.
They pulled me in. I can remember First Sergeant Bayless was kind of red-faced, and he said, have you ever made a movie with a black girl? And that obviously was, I'm not a movie star, so obviously that's a very odd question, and I knew exactly what he was talking about when he said that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, yes. So he said, okay, well, we have found some images that are of a sexually explicit nature on another soldier's computer, I think, and they look like you. And I said, well, they are me. So he said, and you look underage. I think from that was part of their investigation to confirm that the images of the participants in these films were underage.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was just a secondary verification that, I was only 12 or 13 at the time of that film, maybe even 11. So, obviously I'm not an adult, and even when I was an adult at 18 or 19, I still looked young. So obviously at 11, 12, whatever I was in that film, I would not have looked like a mature, an adult,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just real quick, just a real short little recap. So he found out through someone else having these videotapes that he's going to talk about that he was forced to do. They having those videotapes on their device. So one of his sergeants came to him and said it looked like him. So he's going to get more into detail, talking about his time of during this time where these things occurred to him. So it is going to get a little bit of, It's a little bit. It's good. It's going to get a little bit graphic. So if you are a little bit sensitive to hearing stuff of this nature, then you may not want to listen to what he's going to say. But he's not going to get real graphic, but he's going to, yeah, he's going to let y'all know what happened.
It was more, I think, for confirmation that these images were of children. So I don't remember if he actually got court-martialed or if he just got UCMJ, which is just their lower grade of punishment. But I do know that he was chaptered out of the military over it. I think he might have had to do a little jail time, but I don't recall. I can't even recall the soldier's name that got caught with it. I just knew he was an NCO, a staff sergeant.
And did anyone else ever talk to you about the films again? Did they ever talk? Did they ever infer that there was any further investigation in terms to when the films were produced? Did they ask you anything about who was involved, or did they?
No. They didn't go into any legality other than the prosecution of the soldier with the images. So in the military is a little bit different than civilian.